Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci, ProTech Dog Training. I thought I would answer this directly with my little videos because it's just, I can't stand typing and fat fingers and all that and making spelling mistakes and with a spell check and all that crap. So that's a lot of reason I do all these videos, because writing and trying to type it all out and all that struggle you got with modern day spell checkers and all that crap going on online, you constantly have to go back and correct things, this, that, whatever. So I've got a person that keeps coming at me and making comments on my bullet series that I've got going on. And this person is well-intentioned. I don't deny that she probably is, or he, whatever it may be. But a lot of the opinions that you have coming at you are from preconceived backseat driver mentality with people that don't have a friggin' clue because they don't live the life that I have. Okay? And so she made a comment, or they have made a comment once before about the dog looks like he needs to go out and go to the bathroom because he's excited to see me, or whatever reason that this person has come up with that. And then the next thing I get is a comment about, do you ever let your dog just run and run and run? Yeah, I let my dogs do that all the time. This dog is in for training. It's a matter of controlling that dog's environment, so I get this dog mental behaviors and everything else put together so that this dog has a worthy life that these drives that you're talking about. And I'll give you an example right now. I've got kennels in different places over the property. I've got dogs that are in for training. If I let that dog loose and give him that freedom, he will run in and he will start fence fighting, and it'll be a fucking horror story, excuse my language, that will not be conducive to his learning and growth. Okay? The control that we're talking about, leashes, crates, all the things that we use in training are so that we can channel the dog and direct their training. That's what he's here for, is training, okay? So when he gets enough training under his belt and he gets enough ability to be able to have control over him because the training has taken hold and the conditioning has taken hold, then we can start loosening up the strings and start giving him more and more freedom. That's what training does for you. It gives the dog freedom so that he can have the pleasure of having that kind of a life where he can let go, and just because I know I can just go, hey, down, and the dog will drop on a dime or come right back to me. That's control that training gives you. And with that training, you can give the dog a life. Okay? So your points of view are valid, because I don't believe there are any stupid questions. That's how we learn and grow. But they're misplaced because of the inability. You're not driving the car. You're not in the middle of that animal. You're not dealing with this. I am, okay? So I know exactly what's going on all around me. And when the dog gets to that point where he's got all this control and his training is set in, and we've channeled all this in the right direction, I can now loosen up the control that we have, in other words, leaving him in the kennel, all that good stuff, and we can start giving him more freedom. We can start giving him more of a life. That's what training is all about, right? So I don't mind you making comments, and that gives me a chance to respond, and that's how all you folks learn and grow. But I also know that I have an opinion of the general public, and their perceptions are so skewed based on everything that's coming at them. One of those things you're talking about is Cesar Millan with the Dog Whisperer started something where he was always talking about energy, and it was important to him, and he was denoting this for a long time in his slant with his show, that burning off the dog's energy reduces a lot of these negative behaviors, because they're going to want to relax and lay down and go to sleep, and you have more control over the animal overall because he has a lot less energy that's pent up energy. And he was right. But here's the point, here's the problem with that mental attitude. That if you do that all the time, and you go out every night and burn off, and you're trying to control this dog and get him to just burn out and be able to lay down and relax because you think that that's the right answer, what you've done is you've trained the dog, you've conditioned him to have to be up to that level. And when you have a dog like a Malinois or a Dutch Shepherd or a lot of these different breeds that have so much energy that their refresh rate is 30 minutes later, they're right back to being just like they were all the whole time, you're looking for trouble if you don't teach that dog to have an off switch, is what we call it, okay? Teaching the dog to relax. How do I do that? I have a lot of things that I do within my environmental setting, is how I set my environment to channel these behaviors and to get the dog to have this overall nature in life, because I am molding and shaping that dog with how I treat him and what I do with him. I end up having a dog that has an off switch. I can go in my house, the dog will just go over to the veranda bed, lay down, and just totally relax, and it doesn't need to be expended that way. If you do it the opposite way and you burn off all that every night, you condition the dog to have all that energy expended, you now have created a monster, because the dog never knows how to settle down, right? So take it from me, a man with a little bit of experience under his belt with thousands of dogs and dealing with dogs since I was 12 years old, actually 8 years old, but I professionally started training when I was 12. At 16, actually, when I went out, I had started messing with dogs when I was 12 and was out walking people's dogs and training people's, my friends, the people that lived around me as a child, I'd help them out. And when I got 16, I started working for a professional training firm and giving classes in lessons in parks all over the place. So my experience level beats yours all together in a hash thing. So you're trying to be a little subtle with your little comments. And I appreciate, like I said, there are no stupid questions. I don't mind. But at the same time, I'm going to put a kink in your tail, because your lack of knowledge and understanding is evident, right? So if you want a dog to be able to learn to relax and be a lot more calmer and all that, you don't do it by going out and expending all this energy, because you're going to condition a dog to do that all the time, and he doesn't know how to relax, right? So enough said. Keep commenting, please. I love it. That's how you learn, and that's how I get to be able to see the perspective and try to educate and try to teach people, right? So there is no stupid questions. Go ahead. Just don't get malicious about it, and you're trying not to be. You're trying to hide your opinions behind your little subtle slants, but it's pretty obvious. I see right through it, right? So it is what it is. Why don't you go ahead and you stand up and get on that pedestal, and you tell me how much of an expert, how many dogs you've worked, and where you're. I'm going to almost guarantee you're probably a purely positive person that already has the preconceived notions in their head and is not willing to open their mind up anyway, right? So it's all well and good. All right, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, signing off. You guys have a good day.